The day I realized power was quieter than love, I was standing at the head of a gleaming mahogany table, my hands resting on cool, polished wood, staring into the eyes of the man I had married just 3 years before. My name is Helena Montez, 35, senior bank executive, storm and architect of my own fate. In public, I am all composure, strategy stitched into every move, but underneath beats a history of hunger, betrayal, and cold calculation. I came from a place where dreams were measured in the weight of coins, where every good thing felt fragile and always one breath away from being taken. I worked my way up, clerk, teller, analyst, executive. Each rung climbed with silent grit masked by polite smiles. When I met Daniel, well-polished and sweet-tongued, I told myself that partnership would be my rest. He said he adored my mind, my drive. He said we were equals. Yet in the walls of our home, I began to learn the price of that word. He wanted the brilliance but not the autonomy. His love was a leash, and every boardroom victory made him pull tighter. The moment of rupture came the day I secured a global investment deal, a masterstroke that would expand the bank's reach into untouched markets. He looked at the contract like it was an enemy. "Helena," he murmured across our sofa, "maybe it's time you slow down. Focus on us." Focus on him, he meant. Focus on his comfort, his image. I smiled, then trained executive smile. He sat 2 seats away, invited to observe, unaware until the envelope landed in front of him. His face shifted from confusion to shock to rage in seconds, a tremor at the corner of his mouth, a flush climbing his neck. "You're doing this here? Now?" he hissed under his breath. But by then, my focus was already forward. I saw every man at that table watch his reaction, not mine, and the subtle tilt of their eyes told me they understood. I had claimed this moment. You see, revenge is not loud. It is timing. It is making the end look like an inevitable step in a larger, unshakable plan. If you love Helena's journey, like and subscribe to join her next chapter. He tried after the fact to sway public sympathy, painting me as cold, career-obsessed, unfeeling. That was fine. People will believe what makes their world simpler, but the truth was more complex. I had been willing to love him fiercely, to anchor him inside the storm. He had only been willing to love me if I withdrew from it. In the weeks after, I spent nights in my high-rise apartment, light spilling through floor-to-ceiling windows, drinking tea so hot it scalded the roof of my mouth as I reviewed figures that would double our asset holdings. With each passing day, the shock settled in him while the freedom rose in me. Then came the twist I had anticipated, but still savored. Daniel's contract with his firm expired, and with no position waiting, his eyes turned toward mine, professionally this time. A small consultancy needed financial oversight for a government-led project. He was a candidate. The hiring committee? My department. I did not sway the decision openly. I simply presented facts, left rooms at key moments, and allowed merit to speak. He was skilled, yes, just not the most skilled. That was the last gift I offered. Something quiet he would never prove was my doing. Yet poetic symmetry arrived when that same project outsourced work to my bank. The man who had once told me to slow down now sat across from my managers, answering their questions, adjusting his tone to their pace. We never spoke directly, but I would hear his voice in conference calls, measured and careful, as though afraid to step an inch out of place. Did that make me cruel? Perhaps, but I had learned the hard truth. Mercy given too freely invites the same hand to try to chain you again. That lesson had cost me years of affection and trust. I walk now through the marble lobby of my bank. Every morning, heels clicking sharp against the stone, knowing that the world beyond those glass doors sees me as a force they cannot box in. Somewhere, Daniel still remembers the day his marriage ended beside a deal he could not comprehend. He must replay it in his mind, wondering if he could have changed me. The answer has always been no. You cannot change a tide once it rises. Love can hold, but it should never cage. And justice, when served cold, tastes far cleaner than rage. If you want to hear the next act of how I turned every betrayal into empire, stay close, because Helena Montez is far from finished.